Hey guys, in today's video we're talking about a new feature that Lowrance has out on their units called Heat Map. So Heat Map is a feature you're going to want to use anytime you're fishing for fish that are temperature dependent. So right now, being spring of the year, bass are starting to move up into the shallows, even pike and walleye are getting in there, pairing up, starting to spawn. This time of year, water temperature and moon phase are the two most important things for bass fishing. And Lowrance has added this feature called Heat Map. We can access it through our menu and through overlay. And what this is going to do is plot out on our screen the temperature variance as we've traveled along. So this recording we're looking at was actually done in the fall of the year, where again, it was important to be finding warmer water. That's where the fish were congregating. So in this case, we've actually got the opposite going on, where rather than being up in the back bays having the warmest water, out here, as you can see on our temperature scale here, we've got the warmer water. The back bays, because of a recent rain influx through the rivers here, brought in a lot of cold water, so it pushed a lot of fish out. And this is something you really wouldn't be able to notice as plainly as we can here, because we're looking at green being 53 degrees and red being 59 degrees, but most of our plots out here are probably going to be around 56 degrees, so it's only a 3-degree temperature variance, and that was keeping all the fish out in that deeper water. So as you can see in the back bay here, it's all green. As we come out into the deeper water, that's where we're starting to see the higher temperatures. So if I zoom in on this here, you'll be able to see reds and oranges. And then as we come up into the shallows, turns green. Okay, so that is the colder water, again, based on this scale here. Now, you do have some options down here. We have heat map options. The transparency is one thing you can adjust, so we can make that very transparent so we can see our contour lines through that. As you can see here, you can see the contours through it now, or we can just turn it right off. I'll just do that again so you can get an idea what that looks like. From what I've found in instances like this, just having it on minimum is fine. If you're driving over the same area, that's where you'd want to have the transparency up on high. Now, the color palette selection is the next most important thing. And there's 3 color palettes. We've got green hot, and then red hot, and then the blue here. So on color palette number 1, green is the hottest temperature, red is the coolest temperature. So you can see now how we've had the cooler water in the back bay, green out here being the warmer water, shows up as the two opposing colors there. Now we can switch that around and again go into the green being the cooler color. So you can play around with it depending on what type of water you're looking for. If you're looking for warmer water, you may find one works better than the other. For me though, I found the number 2 is the easiest to understand, just because red you always associate with hot. Now palette 3 here, this blue palette, this is going to be really good for offshore fishermen. This is going to show them the color, the temperature changes in a blue color, and you can see here this darker blue versus the lighter blue where it's warmer. And again, it follows the same scale like the red and green colors. But this one, when you're out fishing, looking for maybe some warmer currents, in open water, blue water type fishing, salmon fishing on the Great Lakes, that type of thing, I think this color palette is going to be the best one for you. That cold water is really going to stand out. And then the last option we have is the clear history. So if I hit that, it'll wipe out any of the history that we have on the heat map. So as you can see, the colors can be fairly consistent. We're traveling at a fairly low speed here, but when you get out here, you can see that it's a little more blotchy, not as consistent. So what you're looking for here is more trends. So here you can see, yes, there was some warmer, but overall it is a cooler color shade that's showing up here. Now when we get to this spot here, you can see it's a shoal. We got about 10, 12 feet over here, 14 feet over here, but then we're into 5 and 6 feet. So now you can see here in the shallower water, we do have more of a warming trend on that scale. One other thing to keep in mind is when we came off plane, we had quite a warm temperature here. The air temperature was warmer than the water, and then it did take some time to stabilize. So here we are zoomed out, and you can see it's really plain as day. The cooler water's in the back bay, the warmer water is out on the rocky shoals and further away from the back ends of the bays. You know, like I say, this is in the fall. In the spring, generally, you're gonna have the opposite. But when you see what you're dealing with here, as you move in or out of a bay, you can really dial in, hey, that's why we caught some fish there. And you know, if you start to notice all your waypoints are coming out here where you caught fish, rather than in the back where the water was cooler, just another tool to help you out. This is Lowrance Heat Map. It's available on the HDS Gen3 Carbon and Elite TI units, so you definitely want to make sure you have the latest software to take advantage of this feature and help you catch some more fish this season.